Well, hello again, long time no see. Another video, another bike ride, and this time I'm giving myself a nice little winter weekend break, cycling around Lake Biwa. And I'm going to cycle around the river over 2 days, but I have no idea at the minute whether that's going to be in one video or over 2 videos, because I booked this really last minute, so I have absolutely no plan at all. But, you know, I'll bring you along, record some clips, and then in a few months' time when I come to edit this, I'll find out then. It's a problem for future me. And because of what accommodation was available last minute, today's the much longer ride, doing 125 kilometers today. And since it's getting on a bit in the morning, a bit later than I'd like it to be, I'm just going to grab some coffee and get straight to it. Lake Biwa is a pretty popular cycling area because there's a cycling course that goes all the way around the outside of it, but I'm not sticking to that totally this trip, and I'm going by a recommended route from some website that I actually can't remember right now, unfortunately, but I'll drop it on the screen. Yeah, I'm going to be taking that. It involves taking a little bit more hills on the second day, and it avoids some of the big roads that are along the outside of the lake as well. Now, I've only just started as well, but I'm already starting to gauge some things out about this route. For example, this path on the left-hand side is the slow speed option, and then the road on the right is the fast speed option. It's not too busy right now, but this road has been pretty busy this morning, and when you've got this like kind of pretty wide path here to choose from, it's no surprise that I'm not seeing any cyclists on the road at the minute. And this isn't a dedicated cycle path or anything, this is still shared with pedestrians. But I guess that's the joy of doing these things in winter, because it's never going to be as busy as it is peak times, so I don't have to maneuver around people. I'm also choosing to go around the lake counterclockwise, just so I have the view of the lake on my left hand side at all times, which, you know, I don't think that's something I'm going to get sick of. But it is already 11 AM and I've got like 110 kilometers left to do, so, you know, I might be talking to the camera a lot like this so I can keep moving at the same time. But we'll see. This is a bit of a disorganized mess, but I guess sometimes the best trips are like that sometimes. Well, we're about 30k in now, and I'm starting to realise some of these like point of view shots that I want to take may come across a bit samey when I put them together in the video. Like, I'm really enjoying this ride so far, but a lot of the views are very similar, so hopefully it's not too disinteresting when it comes to putting the video together in the end. But also, I swear I seen on the weather forecast that it was going to be sunny at least for a little bit today, so hopefully I can get a little bit of sunlight today, because the rain's just getting a little bit heavier and a little bit heavier and a little bit heavier, so one can hope. Quick pit stop for lunch number 1. And you can also probably see that the rain hasn't let up any, but to be honest with you, it's not too bad. The rain isn't too heavy and I'm layered up enough where I don't really feel that cold. And speaking of layers, I was hoping to be able to flex my new jacket that I got from MAC in their archive sale, but at the minute it's currently being held in a DHL facility in Melbourne because apparently they didn't give them the invoice, so having to make do with a Family Mart jacket instead. But to be honest with you, this Family Mart jackets came in pretty clutch since I bought it. I can't remember exactly how much it was, maybe it was like 3,000 or 4,000 yen, but for that price, if you're here and you find yourself in a pinch needing a waterproof jacket, it's working pretty well.
Combini hot coffee is a bit of a lifesaver, it has to be said.
To circle things back around to the first video that I ever did, I finally stripped the threading in these holes back here. So for this trip, my temporary solution is to just strap a dry bag to my handlebars, which it's okay for a little 2-day trip, but by the time I'm going cross country, for example, which is something I'll talk about a bit more as we'll get closer to the time, I'm gonna have to find a better solution because bending my cables a little bit here inside, but for a couple of days it's all right. And I'm halfway through the ride right now, and I might only stop properly like one more time, and that's for lunch number 2, of course. But with today's weather being a bit worse than I anticipated, this will probably end up being one video in the end, but again, problem for future me. I wasn't expecting to stop again so soon for lunch number 2, but I'm unexpectedly hungry and I'm passing by Nagahama Castle, so I figure that's a pretty good place to stop and have a break. The 7-Eleven I went into was absolutely barren though. I picked the absolute scraps up here. And I'm definitely seeing why cycling around Lake Biwa is popular with not only cyclists, but with everyone in general. Because you're going around a lake, most of the time it's flat, so if you want it to be, it could be a nice chill cruise going around the loop. But for myself, I've got just over 40k left to do, and I think now it's really time to put my head down and grind forward. Because a major reason I do want to go quite fast, by the way, not just the time it takes to get through 120 kilometers, but the fact that a lot of the spots around the lake aren't really too well lit when it gets dark. Like, there's a lot of places that just don't have street lights at all, so if the place I'm staying at is somewhere like that, then well, I'll be caught out a bit if it gets dark, so I want to try and get as much done as possible while there's still light outside. So I might as well bloody get back to it then, eh? And you can tell this is a popular cycling route because they've got bike parking places along it that you don't have to have a kickstand to use. Look at that. Actual parking bays. One of the worst things about winter cycling though is that every time you stop, you obviously cool down quite rapidly, so the first 5-10 minutes back on the bike afterwards, it's never that fun warming back up again. But at least it's stopped raining now, so hopefully that trend continues. I also thought it was about 40 minutes earlier than it actually is, so yeah, I'm not making it while it's still light. But we're hitting a turn off now from the main cycle route as part of the recommended route from the website that I don't remember. But it'll be a nice break from the main road for a bit, I think. At least it's going to be a bit quieter. I do very much enjoy cycling through these straight flat roads through the fields. It's very relaxing. And it hasn't rained for a little while now as well, so the second half of this ride's been much better than the first, especially this little recommended route turn-off. Just look at this. Absolutely beautiful. And I know I'm mainly here to see a lake, but there's just something about a nice view of misty mountains in the background here that, oh, just gets me going every time. But what, about 30k left to go now, and I was about to say I'm just going to continue putting my head down and grinding forward, but in a little ride with GPS hiccup, there's meant to be a turn-off road here according to the map, and this just looks like the lead into some housing estate. And over there's the opposite direction of where I'm going. So it looks like I have to turn back a little bit, but I'm sure it'll be alright. I don't think I was meant to be on that road. Whoopsie. I'll tell you what, like, this northern area of the lake's bloody lovely. But we're in the last 20k now, so we're on to the final push. But alas, it seems like the darkness is finally here to catch up with me. Which is one of the most edgelord things I've ever said in my entire life. Well, it's only 1k, so it's almost over, but really into the darkness now.
Hey, trying to think of something to end this day off with, but I've just had such a heavy meal that it's about to knock me out. I can't think straight at all. I mean, I will say I'm pretty happy that I managed to get pretty much the entire way without it getting properly dark. I mean, it got pretty dark in the last, like, 7 or so k, so at least it shows that my training's paying off a little bit, that I managed to move that fast in the end. And I'm also glad I got to do that last stretch that you saw while still being able to see, because that end part was really nice. But for now, it's only 20 past 8, but you know what? think it's time for a sleep after all the food that I've ate, so until tomorrow, I'll see you later.
Right then, day 2 of me cycling Lake Biwa, and today's the day that I knew was going to be worse weather-wise, and it's been raining all night, and it's at least going to rain all morning, so I've got a nice full ride of wet to look forward to. But I'm on the bike for less time than I was yesterday, because it's a 75km route today as opposed to 120 yesterday, but I will be going off the main cycle route that goes around the lake again, but it's going to be for a bigger percentage than the ride yesterday, because the route that I'm following today, it goes up into the mountains a little bit before coming back down, as opposed to just sticking by the lake. But since the weather is already so crap, then I might make a judgment call when I get to the start of the elevation whether it's worth going up or down or not. But since it's 75k and it's not like 100 plus, it might be worth doing anyway. So I don't know, we'll wait and see. I'm just going to get straight on with it now, because I haven't had my coffee, haven't had my breakfast, and that's all I can think about right now, quite frankly. I'm warmed up a bit now and I'm starting to feel a bit more positive about the route this morning, and especially because I'm starting to get some of these views. Look at this. I am kind of hoping that traffic stays at a similar level to this, which, you know, is a bit optimistic, but a man can hope. I picked the perfect day to get a puncture, eh? Well, fixing that certainly made a dent in my energy level, so let's see how long it takes to get back into this. Got some monkeys chilling up here. I might be going through the mountains a little bit, but I don't think it gets like properly steep until like right at the end of my climbing. So it's quite nice and gradual so far. So at least I get to chill and just cruise through and enjoy some of this lovely scenery that you're also seeing right now. Having a quiet mountain road like this, it's much easier to get back into the ride as opposed to a busy main road, which I think if you were to stick to the lakeside, that's what it would be right now. I think that's why the recommended route is up here, because a lot of this part of the lake route is all on the main road that's down by the lake. And you know, you've always got the view of the lake beside you, but at the same time, you are on the same road as a lot of cars, so it's a kind of a balancing act. But for now, let's get back to admiring some of this, eh? Because like I said yesterday, there's just something about the mist in these mountains that just gets me excited, you know? keep thinking as I'm coming down these roads at the moment that if I was here in good weather, then that would tip this ride into being like unbelievable. But I'm also finding myself being good at pulling myself away from that and just enjoying the present, because I'm having loads of fun right now. And obviously, as you're continuing to see, the views are absolutely amazing. Because despite there being a lot of snow around, it's not actually that cold. So I just need to continue to keep focusing and keep my mind on the present and just enjoying the fun that I'm having right now. Because really, how I plan the next couple of months before I start doing a big cross-country ride in April, this is the only chance I'm going to get to ride this. I guess in a roundabout way, I'm trying to say, at the start of a ride when things may not look so nice, just trust in the process, and more likely than not, you'll end up having a good time. And even though this is a road in the mountains, this is a national highway route, and it's coming close to lunchtime, so hopefully we've got like a rest stop or something coming up soon, so I can get my stomach filled up. And to be honest with you, like it's been so far, I think the majority of today is just going to be like point of view shots or B-roll on the bike, because I don't really have too much to add to these views. I think they speak for themselves. And it looks like we're getting to the point where visibility might become a bit of an issue. So if this path carries on at the side of this road, I might just ride on that for a little bit. I wish I had my new bloody bright yellow map jacket now instead of this black thing. Well, we've just come to the start of my single biggest climb of the day, I think. 6 kilometers to the top. And unfortunately, my GoPro's on 3%. And right now, I can't really be bothered to stop and take the other battery out of my bag. So I think I'll just grind this climb out, and I'll see you at the top, or I'll see you at lunch, whatever comes first. Right then, so I finished that climb, and I've changed the battery now on the GoPro. And I don't know whether you would have caught it through the lens of the GoPro, but if you've seen the elevation profile when I showed it before, that wasn't really too bad of a climb, to be honest. And I realise now it might be confusing to say that that was the longest single climb of the day, even though I've been going uphill the entire time pretty much, but that was the single longest climb that the GPS computer recognised as enough of an effort to like tell you about, if that makes any sense. Now that I think about it, I don't really know how to describe it, but you know, I have been going up the whole time, but that was like a little bit more up, so there you go. But that climb did include one long tunnel in it, which absolutely did suck. Tunnels are probably, well, I don't know if they're the worst, but they're up there with the worst things about cycling here. But even though this is a pretty busy road, I also realise now that I'm not on like the main road that's going through here. I think like the proper main road is somewhere down there. So it's no surprise that I've not really been seeing anything on the side of the road to stop and have lunch at. But I've just had my last calorie, mate, and to be honest with you, I don't really feel like I'm in desperate need of food, and I think I'm going to start going downhill a little bit now, so I should be able to push it a little bit further and cruise further towards the end of the ride to get my lunch in. I mean, I hope that's the case, but I'm over halfway through the ride now, and I've done longer distances in worse hunger states, so I think I'll be okay. So without further ado, let's get back to it, eh? Well then, seeing another cyclist come up the other side makes me think that I'm not too mental for doing this route in this weather. Well, the rain's getting heavier now, and this is around about the time the forecast said it was going to clear up, so the weather forecast has really done me in this weekend. And now I have joined back up with the official cycle route again. So my lovely jaunt through the mountains is now officially complete. But then I'm immediately met with some road closures and diversions. But I don't think it'll last too long. I think we'll be back on track shortly enough. And you can't really see too well through the trees, but we're back by the lake again. Being down from the mountains now, I'm actually passing places where I can stop for lunch. But I just looked down at my GPS and I'm just under 8 kilometers left of the ride, so I don't actually feel that bad still. So I've got 8 kilometers left in me, so then we can have a nice long sit down somewhere, dry off, and then get the train back home. I think that's the plan. It's kind of mad to think though that I've done all that with the only energy source that I've had throughout is a box of calorie mates. Must be doing something right in my training. I'm ending things with some pavement riding like a local, but it's not as fun on a faster drop bar gravel bike than it is on a mamachari. But to be honest with you, don't really fancy the heavier traffic right now. And because the lake's so big and it's been so misty, a lot of the times when I've been down by the lake, it seems like I'm down by the sea with how vast it is. Oh, and if you turn and look over here, you can see how cloudy it is up in the mountains right now, and yep, that's where I've just came from. Well, I've made it now to Otsu Station, and it's been a pretty interesting ride today, hasn't it? But I've just looked at some of the data on my GPS computer, and it seems like there was a lot less elevation than it said on my Ride with GPS route that I had planned. So I wonder where Ride with GPS got all these mythical meters from, because I was thinking it was kind of a bit easier than I was expecting it to be, but obviously the weather wasn't that easy. But it's trips like these that I voluntarily put myself in these situations that I realise that I managed to pick a hobby that I'm pretty passionate about, because I've came out the end thinking this was a very positive experience, and I could have very easily done more if the route was longer. But for now, I'm finally going to go have that lunch, and it seems like there's a decent selection here at this train station, so definitely not going to go hungry. So I hope you've had a good time watching this trip, because I've certainly had a good time riding it. So until we see each other again, I'll see you later.